background, can you tell us about the key influences that shaped your musical style?
Oh, a big one would have to be Patsy Cline, obviously, and Etta James, mostly artists back from the 50s and 60s. And a lot of them are female artists, of course, more than anything, because I think that they had a lot more influence on me because they're strong women. And I love the way they sing. Yeah, Patsy Cline, Etta James, Aretha Franklin. My music isn't more rockabilly based. Only because I found that there's not that many female artists in that genre. But I love rhythm and blues so much. It's just like I find that it's harder to do that kind of style of music nowadays because not a lot of people play brass or like play saxophone and stuff like that. So it's very rare to find people that are well dedicated in the first place. And then on top of it all, specializing in those kinds of instruments that want to play that kind of music. Well, well, especially in El Paso, you know that it's very diverse, very Mexican influenced. So that had a lot of influence on me through the lowrider cultural scene because my dad used to take me to the cruises down at Ascarate Park and go to a lot of car shows. And of course, like that intertwined with the Motown music, lowrider music scene, just influenced me a lot too in introducing me to these artists like Aretha Franklin and Etta James. Also, the Texas influence too of just being like around country music because and that's when I started to fall in love with like George Strait and Garth Brooks and Reba McEntire and Pam Tillis and there's Patty Loveless. Like there's a plethora of things that influenced me also in that aspect. So intertwining the two, honky tonk and country music, or three, and rhythm and blues, kind of like melded into my interest into rockabilly music.
I believe an artist can benefit from a wide range of musical influences, and it can make their music more versatile, expand their understanding of these kind of different genres. So I think it's great that Mozzy D has a diverse musical repertoire of influences.
Well, when I first started wanting to get a band together, it was with an ex-boyfriend of mine, and he's now passed away. He passed away of alcoholism, and the alcoholism is what I had to overcome because at some point, he did have a lot of he did have a lot of love for me and my wanting to be a musician and wanting to be a singer, and he did help me at the beginning, like trying to like get my music together and contributing musically and instrumentally, and having his band who were the Shadowmen at the time help me out and starting to play shows and stuff like that. And he helped me a lot. He helped me a lot with knowledge too about music theory and rockabilly music and introduced me to some of the of more obscure artists. But of course, his alcoholism just got in the way of everything, not just the relationship of being creative. And overall, the deterioration of the relationship was something that I grappled with because then I thought, how can I continue doing my music if he was a big part of it? Like he played guitar for me, he helped me with the music, like I did the lyrics and the melody, and he did the music part. So how was I gonna move on without him? Once, but it got so bad to a point where it didn't matter anymore. I was like, I have to go, I have to leave. So that's how I overcame it is through the help of friends and especially family, obviously, because they helped me get through the whole situation of me having to move out last minute and trying to find a place to stay. And it was just a rough period time of my life. Not only was that also going on, but I lost my job. during that. So that once I got my new place and found it, paid the first month's rent, I lost my job. Well, that year, towards the end of the year, was when I started writing and sending my music over to Luke. And then the following year, we recorded in January. So that was a whole year later. It was like almost two. It was 2 years. It was 2 years later that I won the award because after I created that album, it qualified me for the award to be nominated, and then I won a year later. So 2 years. Yeah.
I think it's so cool how Mosey D has been able to rise up from her troubles to get to where she is now. You know, having an award-winning album. You know, not only does this put her in the spotlight and highlight her accomplishments, but it really does show her success and that hard work eventually does pay off. You know, also, you know, her story is that not to give up even when things don't seem to go your own way. You know, move along, just to make it through, as that one song went.
Person overall. uh, and and that reflects in my music. I've um really taken it. I've made it a point to like tell my story through my music. Um, of course, everybody does, right? You have inspiration behind every song. But this one really, like, I poured my heart out into the songs. Um, but I also made it a point to acknowledge where I'm from and to give dedication to that also. So I was kind of like a whole mix of my experience and the person I become because of my experiences, all rolled into one.